So where's the Virtual Console? That's the one question that everyone seems to ask about the Switch, and rightfully so. I want the Virtual Console because I want to play my old games on the go. I would even love to see GameCube games, as we've talked about. But at this point, give me some Super Nintendo stuff, give me some Game Boy stuff, just to at least get a start and then move into the 3D stuff with 64 and GameCube. But what's interesting is part of the hacking community, Pluto on Twitter, great person to follow because they do talk about some of the intricacies with like the coding. Right now they're going through the newer update 4.0 and they're finding some interesting stuff that's kind of buried in that firmware. One of them, well, it might point to Virtual Console being added soon. Again, this is from Pluto over on Twitter saying, Switch firmware 4.0.0 added JIT memory objects to the kernel. Supports separate process for secure JIT. See Switch Brew for more information. Probably required for upcoming Virtual Console emulators. So you might be asking, what are they talking about here? JIT, that stands for just-in-time compiler generally. It's a way that emulators can work efficiently or on the fly. See, what they do is when you're playing an emulator, a lot of the reasons it used to be, or at least kind of still is, CPU intensive is because it is constantly compiling information. Generally, you have, say, a Super Nintendo emulator. Say you're using that. And while you're playing it, it's actually converting the Super Nintendo code, NES code, into usable code for your computer. Or in this case, it could be doing it for the Switch. And it's kind of on the fly. That's why it's just in time. And so this is something that's used for pretty much all emulators at this point. Dolphin runs with something called just-in-time compiler, one that they have created. And it's kind of cool to see this being added to the Switch because generally that would be added really in advance, right? Because they've added stuff to the OS as they go along in smaller updates. In this case, in the big firmware patch with 4.0, they added what appears to be the beginnings of Virtual Console, the beginnings of adding in emulators. Now, of course, we saw the Mario versus Arcade added yesterday. So it could be maybe for that. I'm not sure how that's running, if that's something they designed natively or if it is running in an emulator. That could be what that's for as well. However, they have had the other arcade classics on there without this coding that seems to be added for 4.0. So I think, as well as many others, that this could actually lead to the Virtual Console coming in January. It is completely rumored right now, obviously, because Nintendo has not said anything, hence rumor wave. But I mean, consider this. I mean, we all think it's coming in January with that Direct because they're going to start selling the online service to us that's supposed to have some sort of support for a game that you get every month, which we assume will be an NES or Super Nintendo game since they've already shown some NES games, things like Dr. Mario, for example, Mario 3, that we get, and apparently we'll have added functionality, probably things like online play, co-op play, stuff like that, that they want to try to really bolster the experience. However, seeing something like the just-in-time compilers kind of being added as they go along to memory and the kernels, that pretty much points at some kind of emulator showing up in the Switch. And I am excited to see Virtual Console, because, I mean, come on, guys. Who doesn't want to play GameCube games on the go, on your Switch, Super Nintendo games, Mario World, Mega Man X? Give me everything. Even if they want to design a Netflix service where I can pay monthly for a system, maybe I just want Super Nintendo, pay monthly for that. Maybe there's packages you can get. I don't know, because then you don't have to buy one time and just keep buying all these games. I kind of like the idea of almost like how Microsoft does their Game Pass. I really like that service for $10 a month. It's awesome. What if they do something like that where you have several different games from like a library of Super Nintendo, Nintendo. They go back and throw Virtual Boy in there, right? They can do all this cool stuff with some of their games that are kind of just lying around right now and collect consistent revenue. Like seriously, just revenue every single month that is guaranteed just about with that games as a service that every company is now chasing. Nintendo has the biggest leg up with their legacy of games, and I think they should start selling them at, seriously, recurring revenue. Why not? As always, guys, I'm curious what you think about this. Do you think this just-in-time compiler being added is for something else, or do you think it pretty much marks, hey, Virtual Console is coming? We already know, I mean, we already assume, we don't know technically, we assume, as everyone is now, because everything lines up. Even EA's little document that was put out shows it, that there is some kind of Direct showing up in January to tell us all about 2018, and 2018 has to include that online service, and I really want to believe that it has to include the Virtual Console. But let me know what you guys think down below, if this points to Virtual Console, if it points to something else, and how would you like to see the model for Virtual Console? Do you want them to stick like normal, where you spend one-time fee and you get a single game, or would you like to see it added into some kind of Netflix service where you pay so much money a month and you just have access to everything and it's a constantly changing library? I really want to know where you guys fall on that too, how the Virtual Console should show up and how it should be monetized. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good Christmas Eve. Have some fun tonight. I'll see you guys next time.